Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
Hey.
So I saw your message, and I kind of agree. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go over everything that I have been have been feeling ever since I started this campaign, but I think in the long run, where we're at now, we would not have reached if you just said it at the beginning. I don't want to play. I'm going to sit it out.
I mean,
Um,
I did say I didn't want to play, but I assumed it would have increased in enjoyment later on when adjustments and more settled were made. And on top of that, it's also a massive. It's like weighing the pros and cons between finding a new game or sticking it out with the initial.
I don't know if that's. I don't know. This was a long time ago when we started.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall if you actually said that. You might have said something along those lines. And then all of us said, well, all of us are new to the system. We're all learning at the same time. We can like adjust as we go. And everybody did adjust and everybody was like learning and like adapting as we went, and you kind of stayed in the same attitude as we were at the beginning.
Really, I think that's a little unfair. I was trying as hard as I can. I mean, I learned those talents according to the more simpler classes. I stuck with trying to learn them as best as possible. But yeah, nonetheless, difficulties learning the system was getting in the way of the enjoyment. Yes.
Okay.
Um, is that the only
Well,
reasons? It wasn't.
I can go over some of these topics
Yeah.
that I've kind of
It's.
gathered my thoughts in to like a WordPad thing.
Because
Um,
I would greatly like to improve my own interactions with other people because I'm sure I was doing stuff I didn't even know was annoying other people. So it's good to know.
we already talked about kind of already uh, on the like initiative aspect with you with what you have shown to me is that your like initiative has been failing because you're not making the attempt to learn, um, and then when something happens like in the game, like as simple as 2 sessions ago where you were using grenades and
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have it in the attack area, you just had it under your items, and you were just talking off or you were shoving off to the side why you didn't have that there when
It's
all
normally.
you had to do
Mm-hmm.
was just drag and drop a grenade on your sheet and
Yeah.
it would create an attack area for you.
I did exactly that though, and it didn't create that area, which is what I was saying. But yeah,
And
that's just literally
and
my
so
logic.
if it did not create the attack, then you would do it on your own,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the part of the like initiative thing. You're not showing that.
I mean, that's fair enough, but nonetheless, it's like it really should have done it, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm not. Yeah, you're right. I'm not really that interested in fixing the problems of the system. I just want to
Right.
have a good time. Yes.
Right. And like another thing is that like you're not showing that you're paying attention. Myself and the players are constantly having to repeat each other. I also noticed on your character sheet that you haven't been updating your XP total. A
Mm-hmm.
couple sessions ago, I updated your XP total because I think you had to like leave early or something, and I noticed that you had like thousands and thousands less than everybody else,
Well, that
even though
was.
Shane has been putting the total in the chat at the
Mm-hmm.
end of every session. And so you
Absolutely.
don't have to add, you just have to update your number.
Well, that's more of an efficiency thing. As soon as the whole party levels up, I level up. I don't really see much point in putting more and more numbers into that category when it's just like overall level is more important.
Well, and that's another thing on the initiative aspect. That is your job as a player
So
to change your XP number.
I gotta say, I've done exactly the same thing in other campaigns, and no one's found it to be a problem. But if that's a problem for you, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. Also on the also like on the not paying attention, um, during our sessions, Discord always says that uh, that you were playing a video game,
Yeah,
and then like when our session ends, it no longer says that.
Well, that's usually
And
when I'm going
so,
to bed at that time, but or winding down. But
and so,
half the time, absolutely, that is true. But
and so it gives me a notion that you don't want to play, you don't want to pay attention, you just want to play your video game during our session that we have all showed up for, that I have prepared for you.
that, in all fairness, isn't entirely my fault. It's like there's long periods of me doing absolutely nothing in the game, and I'm just meant to be expected to sit there still entirely. I mean, I pause the video games and absolutely when it's my turn, and I keep in my head who's next in the initiative order. It's like, oh, Nick's next in the initiative. Okay, when Nick is talking, I get off the game ready for my turn, and you can't deny I'm ready for my turns. So.
And because of that, it goes back to you not paying attention, and myself and the players have to repeat each other.
Okay, I mean, I could just remain silent throughout the entirety, like, say, other players I've noticed, but I'm not going to point out other players.
Okay. Um, on, on the other thing, patience. I have noticed that you don't have a lot of patience. You try and push things forward. But that aspect has gotten annoying because you pushing things forward is not your job. It is like my job to like push you guys in to the next area or to the next subject, and if everyone is not ready, then you just have to wait until we move on. And then on the other side of that, you trying to push everybody forward, and then when you want to do something on your own, you expect everybody else to wait for you.
That's a little
And
unfair
it's-
again, but
And it's, and it's kind of like a hypocritical thing, like I don't want to wait for you, but you all should wait for me.
yeah, as I said, that's a little unfair. The me pushing things forward, I always like ask the entirety of the other players if it's okay if we move things along, because I feel like there's a big stagnation of events. Like we're just sitting there waiting for the scene to move forward, and I understand you can't just move it forward immediately, but it's like dead air for quite a long time. As for when I'm doing events, I would allow other people to do exactly the same thing I'm doing, so I wouldn't call that hypocritical in the slightest.
Dead air is perfectly fine because we aren't playing in person, and so like you have no idea if another player is thinking, if another player is taking notes, if another player is trying to come up with like what they want to do next.
Yeah, which
We
does
don't
go.
we don't know.
Mm.
None of us know. And so like when we are doing something, it's just a matter of like waiting until everybody else is kind of all finished with what they want to do, with like what they want to attack, with like what they want to discuss with the other players. And then, I mean, like it's been small. I mean, it's been like 5 seconds, maybe 8 seconds at the most, of like people not saying anything. And then you go, okay, are we done? Let's move on. And it kind of pushes everybody else to be like, okay, I guess we are done.
I mean, that's why I'm doing the asking. But you are right, I have very little patience, which is why I like much quicker paced games like 5e compared to this one. I would absolutely accept that.
Right. Also, the negativity aspect. This may just be like a you thing. I know that you're depressed, and like I was too.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you have that mm, mental state, it kind of comes out as well.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. I was there too. It's just that when it comes to bringing up negativity, like bringing up the bad things, always like talking about the like worst case things,
Mm-hmm.
like always on that aspect. It is better like for the dynamic of the group to just not say anything, because like it will bring other people down, and it
Mm-hmm.
will make other people not have a good time.
Yeah, I can accept that as well. I would say, although that is a negativity, it's something I find very difficult to control because on top of my depression, I also have like the Asperger's, which means obviously I have difficulty controlling my own conversational behaviors, like speaking the truth at all times and answering honestly when someone asks me how I'm feeling and whatnot. But yeah, I can understand that could be annoying.
Yeah. And then the final thing, it pretty much all boils down to the course of our game. It has it has uh, 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 in your attitude over the course of it. Um, I get the feeling that you do not care about the session. You're just here to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, how I feel like you're not paying attention, you're not taking any like initiative to learn. Um, and you've also shown that you don't want to work like with the group. Like you keep instigating with Mark's character.
I mean, that's
And you
literally
keep
one of the points of involving
poking
myself
him,
in the story. But
and you keep like poking his character and pushing his character, and and last session when it happened, I still allowed it, but I was at the very end of me saying stop it, and that's why I just went completely silent like during the whole thing. I was just like, you guys do that, and then we will move on to actual gameplay.
I would totally defend that character interaction, Finn. That was me actually involving myself in the game. That was one of the few things I had literally to do in the game is interaction with someone else. Because otherwise it's like, well, no one's really doing anything, no one's shown much characteristics of interaction. Mark is the only one, and we've had this whole, you know, relationship in character. It's not player to player. At least I certainly hope Mark wouldn't feel like it's player to player. But sometimes those kinds of interactions happen. It's realism. It is involving myself in the game, and I would have thought you would be happier about that than upset. If he had said anything about this, I would have stopped immediately.
Well, well, that is everything that I want to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, I am open to like any other thoughts or concerns that you may have. But the end result of this is that uh, you won't be a part of the game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And because this has been happening since before we started playing Starfinder. It has just gotten worse since we have started playing this.
Yeah.
And you have kind of like this group has been playing together for 2 years. We have built the bridge, and how you have been acting, how you have been playing, all the stuff that I have covered. The bridge is no longer there.
Yeah, it's
And I don't want to,
the whole relationship.
and I don't want to feel like we are, or I am, or like I am the only one who thinks this way. I don't want to bring the other players in, and I'm not going to say who said what. I'm just going to say I'm not the only one.
No,
Um,
that's perfectly fine. I can
and
understand.
because of this, not only do I feel like I should remove you from the game, it's it's an overall thought that we want to remove you from the group as well.
I wouldn't
Uh,
say you could make that decision solely to remove me from the group. I'm more than willing to remove myself happily from the game itself.
mm,
If we were playing a system, I mean, you're absolutely right that I did not make it a secret that I was not happy about this system we were playing as Starfinder. But if it was anything else, I'd be more than happy to happy to play a system I understand and feel confident playing, because it's this frustration of me otherwise, and it's.
this is not just for me, like I said
Mhm.
before. I don't want to bring everybody in. I don't want you to feel like uh, we are uh, 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 hanging up on you. Like when I say I feel it is time to remove you from our group, it is not coming from just me.
Yeah.
Um, and I told you all my reasons why I want to remove you from my Starfinder game, and that also coexists to removing you from the group, because this stuff has not started just in Starfinder game.
I mean,
Um,
there's.
There has been times in Shane's game,
Mhm.
there have been times in Mark's game, um, and we as a whole, but not as all of us as a whole coming on top of you. You know, I I just want to talk with you like one on one, because I don't want you to feel like we're all, you know, like jumping on top of you saying leave.
Oh no, absolutely. If that was the case, I would actually feel more comfortable even leaving. But I feel like a lot of the complaints you had against me on the Starfinder campaign, like 70% of that doesn't even apply, and for 20% I can't even help my behaviours, so that is kind of unfair. I
Well,
mean, say for instance, if someone said they don't want you as a GM because of not making fun of you, but for your problems, you know, speaking sometimes, that would be an unacceptable thing for them to say, right?
no, I don't think it would, because they're being honest with me.
I'm okay. So
They're not.
you would be okay if someone said, I
They're
don't
not.
want you as GM because you stutter. That would be perfectly fine with you. Something you
I
can't
would.
help doing.
I would say okay, if that's how you feel, I will leave. You know,
Alright.
like I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt. I'm not gonna walk away from my computer crying. If
Mm.
that's how somebody feels, then that's how somebody feels.
Alright. Then you're a bigger man than I am, because I would honestly find that quite offensive if they said, I don't want you around because you have depressive thoughts that you always share. Um, but other than that, I just want to make it clear that I am completely willing to still be part of the group, because I feel like the only problems are restricted only to your Starfinder game.
I've already told you it is not.
Okay. I mean, that's your opinion versus my opinion on that matter, but okay.
I've already told you that I've gotten thoughts from other players. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to bring all of them here. That I am not the only one.
I mean, I'm honestly thinking they're only agreeing with you to be nice to the person who was nice enough to be the GM, and I do agree that's a big role to take on, and I am thankful you did it as long as you have. But no one's going to complain to the GM about something, no one's going to disagree with GMs for the most part, for that exact nicety, that exact reason in my mind.
I don't know what else I can say.
Mhm.
I feel like you're not accepting this. You're not
I would
understanding.
accept leaving the Starfinder group, but the group as a whole, I would find it, yeah, that would be a bit harsh.
don't know what else I can say. I'm not the only one who's saying this. I'm not the only one who is thinking this way. I am letting you know, just you and me, like one-on-one, that like this is how it is right now.
And I would say otherwise, because that seems a bit unreasonable. Whenever you want to finish your Starfinder campaign, you guys can invite me. That's all I gotta say.
But because of everything that I have covered,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a consensus, nobody wants to have you.
So let me get this clear. So Shane's game, when we were having an amazing time, everyone's characters were getting along, including yours and my characters. We, well, not everyone, but the majority of players wanted me out of the group then. Yeah?
No. No.
No?
There was just certain like instances that kind of irritated everybody, but it was only a small amount. And then we went into Ark's game, and it was a couple instances that kind of irritated everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The like dynamic of the group, it wasn't the same. It kind of like adjusted, but it was just a couple times. And then we went into mine. And it's been happening ever since the first game.
Yeah, which I think is more
And
depending
it has
on
just grown and grown and grown. And instead of you saying, I'm going to leave, I don't want to play, you stayed. And you continued, and it kept growing and growing and growing until now.
Yeah, this is why I think it's more dependent on the game itself rather than the individual as in myself. In a game that I feel happy playing, I will be a lot more, upbeat, less depressive, less talking about, oh, I'm not having that much fun, and so on and so forth. In a game I would be, not so much. So then it goes back to the whole idea that it's just dependent upon which game we're talking about. You understand this? Where I'm coming from at the very least?
It's hard to.
Hmm.
It's hard to make sense of it. I don't understand why, if you didn't want to play, if you didn't enjoy, if you didn't show the initiative, then why did you continue?
A number of reasons. One, I thought your game would wrap up at the end of the first chapter, because honestly I felt like the rest of the players weren't having as much fun in comparison to, say, other game systems. Not to judge you, you made a good go at it and whatnot. Two, it is much harder to find a group for myself than it is already being inside this group, which I felt initially was quite accepting of my unusual, behaviours, Asperger's and depression and so on and so forth. What else?
I said at the
3.
beginning there was 6 books.
Oh, you didn't have to go through all of them, and we don't go through all the campaigns of the Finamajig. You would end it if initially. And 3, I felt like virtually everyone's characters was actually underdeveloped. People were less interested in this system than even myself, so I doubly thought it was going to end soon enough. But that's the way you feel.
Alright, well, to satisfy you, since you don't want to accept this, I am going to remove you from the Starfinder game on the Roll20.
That's
I
fine.
will keep you in the Discord. I'm going to message everybody about this, and then you can message them and get their thoughts on the subject. Like maybe they want to do like a voice chat with you as well. But I'm telling you, we're on the same page.
Okay.
I don't know what you reaching out to everybody and not accepting what I'm telling you is going to bring, but it's going to bring you the same thing that I have been telling you.
Yeah, well, that's perfectly fine. You can remove me from your Starfinder game with no hard feelings on my side. But yeah, as long as I remain on the Discord group list, that's fine.
Are you going to talk with everybody?
No, I honestly don't think it's relevant. If they want to talk to me, I can make that known, and I can write my response to
Okay,
you explaining the situation,
so
if it's necessary.
so you don't want to accept what I say because you feel the other players do not agree with me, but you don't want to talk to the other players.
I mean, I could talk to the other players if they want to talk to me. I'm not just going to say,
No,
hey
they don't want to
Shane,
talk to
hey
you.
Nick, talk to me about the issues you have with me. See, exactly that.
No, they don't want to talk to you. I am talking to you because I am currently on the DM. And so I'm currently in control of this group, of the session, of the players. And so I'm asking you, if you do not accept what I am telling you, how are you going to talk to the other players?
Not unless they initiate it. Seriously.
You're
No.
not going to.
Well, I'm not going to initiate a discussion with them about this exact topic. No.
Okay.
I'm
Then
gonna
we've all said what we wanted to say. I feel like we haven't really got anywhere. I'm just going to remove you from our group.
maybe, as I said, remain on the Discord server. Otherwise, it's a little unreasonable.
I've already told you why. You're not accepting it.
Again, I am staying on the Discord server, in my opinion, because I'm pretty much guaranteed the issue is only amongst the two or the three GMs of this group.
No.
And that's only suspicions in my mind. I am
It is
sure
more.
that Shane wouldn't have an issue with me. He's been greatly understanding and patient, and he doesn't have a problem. I understand GMs have to put the needs of the group above one single person, but I doubt he would be happy about removing me, and various others.
That's not true.
Well,
I've told you a number of times. All of us are in the same
maybe
place.
they need to say it themselves to me, but I'm not going to go out and ask them.
I just feel like we're just running around in circles.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I can say here.
Well, you could just say you've removed me from the Starfinder, which is fine, but leave me on the group. I'm not going to cause any troubles. I'm not going to
No, I'm
discuss.
going to remove you from the group.
I'm going to be on the group. So if anyone invites me for a new game, I would be happy to accept in that new game. That's
No,
it. That's
I'm going
all.
to remove you from the group. I've already told you. All of us are in the same thought process.
Okay. So let me just put it clearly, right? I would not be causing any trouble if I was left in the group, but it would be more trouble if you removed me, because then I would feel like you are all ganging up on me, or it's you solely doing this.
It is not solely me. I have already told you. I am just talking to you one-on-one, and so you don't feel like we are hanging up on you.
Then keep
then
me
I
in the
offer-
group. It's not a problem. Why is it
And then you
necessary to remove me from the group?
I have already told you everything.
What? It's not necessary to remove me from the group if other players want to invite me back.
Other players feel the same way as I do.
Again, I have to hear it from them, otherwise it's not going to be the case.
You want to hear it from them, but you don't want to chat with them.
Okay, I'll be happy to chat with them, but seriously, it's not the case.
That's not making any sense.
Yeah, it's not making any sense. I agree with you. I don't see the difference between chatting with them to get their opinions, or them telling me personally to get their opinions, or
Because
me
you don't
staying
think I'm
in.
telling you the truth.
I mean,
That's why.
honestly, there's questions in my mind whether or not you are.
And so talk with the group. But you don't want to.
No, not really. I don't feel it's my real need to do.
Okay. Alright, I've already taken you out of the Roll20 game. And then like when we're done here, since you want closure but you're not accepting it from me, and you're not going to ask it of the other players, then I guess closure is going to be forced. I don't really know like what else I can say.
I don't really know what I can say to you about forcing people out without the consent of other people.
I have already told you.
Again, I don't believe you if that's the case. I mean,
And so I'm
why is
asking,
it why is it
reach
absolute?
out to the other
Mhm.
players, which you don't want to do. I
No,
don't understand.
it's not my responsibility to reach out to other players so they can do this. If they wanted to say, we as a full group agree that Halo Hunter should be removed from the group, I could accept that. But unless I hear it, I'm only going to hear it from you.
And that's what happened. We all talked about this.
Away
It was
from
over
me?
the course. It was over the course of a couple months.
Mhm.
It was kind of like a mention here, a mention there. Hey, I got this. Hey, I got that. And then I compiled everything, and then I brought you right now into a chat, and so I can cover everything. I've already told you we all feel this way. I already told you everything that has been going on, but you don't want to accept it.
I mean, if you got a problem with me, that's really your problem. It's not the same as other people. And if
It's
other
a consensus.
it's
How
not
many
a
times do I have to say that?
if you say so. I mean, I don't hear it from other people, so it's only a consensus of one, as far as I can see.
They're not hearing it from other people because it's not their job. They
Yeah.
are players. If players have an issue, they come to me. I I take the issue in, I look at it, and then when it becomes too much, which it now has,
But
I
you are
bring
not.
it up.
But you are not the only GM of this group. So how do you explain this one?
I am the current one,
Mhm.
and as I said, it is a group consensus. We have talked, and you're not accepting it. And to accept it, you want to hear from other players, but you don't want to reach out to the other players.
It's not really my position to do so. What am I meant to do? Go to every single player and say, hey, moment of your time, everyone's going to be voting me out, so could you spare me a moment of your personal time instead of game time to clear it up that you also apparently hate me enough to want me out of the game? Is that what I'm meant to do? How's that
You want
gonna
to know
sound?
why?
I mean, if I accepted it from other players.
I don't know what to say here.
I mean, there's a compromise.
I have told
and-
you everything. It was a consensus.
Mhm.
I have gone over everything, but you don't want to hear it.
I
So
mean, I'm not hearing it from just the likes of you. I mean, that's
so
one person out
I
of
think
the
we're done
entire group.
here.
Yeah, if you don't go into.
I think we're done here.
Alrighty. If you kick me out of the group, this will cause more trouble than not. I will warn you of that one. Then I would reach out to all the separate players and say, like, this person's kicked me out, be on alert, make sure everyone appeases, so and so they're not kicked out of the group. I mean, is that the real toxic areas you want to go?
It is not toxic. I have been telling you the truth. It has been a consensus of all the other players.
But
Now
they
you
just
are
didn't tell
doing
me.
now you are doing threats, which
That's not a threat. I'm just saying.
which I
that
will
would
not
be-
hear.
You can go ahead and interpret that as a threat as much as you want. I mean, in my opinion, I've been more than reasonable. But if other people actually, I mean, you could make it as simple as this, right? You could put on the Discord chat, right? Simple vote, yay or nay. It could be completely anonymous. It's just the numbers, just plain numbers. Yes or no for Halo Hunter to stay in the group. That's it. That's as much as you could do. But I'm guessing you're not going to do that.
No, because it already has been done, and I have told you. We have gone over this. I don't know how many times.
In secret, away from me, it's been done. Is it?
It hasn't been in secret. That is what you do if you're in a group and the player has an issue. A player brings it up to the dungeon master, not to the group.
No, I bring it up to the player personally, and if the player didn't cooperate, then I'd bring it up to the GM. That's normally how adults would settle such matters.
I'm done with this. I don't know how many times I can repeat myself.
I don't know how many times I could repeat myself, but you're not listening to such reasons, so. And we're done.